Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. Northern Nigeria, which has 19 out of the 36 states of the Federation, covers 660,000 kilometers or 250,000 square meters out of Nigeria's 923,769 square kilometers. With a conservative population of about 160 million, according to recent findings, the region is also blessed with vast arable land, huge mineral deposits including gold, iron ore, gemstones, among several others, in addition to untapped hydrocarbon across some basins, with Gombe and Bauchi alone accounting for over 1 billion barrels of oil reserve and 500 billion cubic feet of gas. However, despite these human and natural resources, another region is grappling with socio-economic challenges such as insecurity, growing poverty, out-of-school children, collapsed industrial base, good governance deficit, among several others. Past and present governors in the region have convened a series of meetings and resolutions derived mostly under the platform of the Northern Governors Forum on the myriads of challenges plaguing the region without commensurate political will to drive home a coordinated approach to implementation. It is against this backdrop we'll be taking a look at the communique of a recent meeting of the Governors Forum meeting held in Kaduna under the chairmanship of Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya. And joining us via Zoom from Birnin Kebbi to examine the issues is the National Publicity Secretary of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, Professor Tukur Muhammad Baba. Professor Tukur Baba is also the Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences at the Federal University, Birnin Kebbi. Prof, welcome to the program.
Thank you so very much. Happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you. But before we start the conversation, here are some tidbits. The Military High Command says it has concluded its long-awaited investigations on the bombing of innocent citizens in Tudimbiri village of Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. It also said 2 officers of the Nigerian Army who were found wanting about the incident will face court-martial, saying the operation shouldn't have happened in the first place. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, disclosed this at a press briefing at Defense Headquarters, Abuja, on Thursday. Daily Trust had reported how the drone bombing mistake, which occurred on Sunday, December 3, 2023, resulted in dozens of casualties and injuries to residents of Tudimbiri, Ogara, and Sabongida after they converged at Tudimbiri to celebrate the Maulud. Meanwhile, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has announced that Nigeria's inaugural flight to Saudi Arabia for Hajj 2024 will depart on May 15. NACON's Chief Executive Officer, Ahmed Arabi, disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja. Here is a report on this.
According to NACON CEO, preparations for the 2024 Hajj are in full swing, with the organization of the first National Stakeholders Summit of Nigeria's Hajj and Umrah industry team, partnership, collaboration, and teamwork, the tripod of success for 2024 Hajj operations. Vice President Kazim Shatima, represented by the Special Advisor to the President on General Duties, Aliyu Umar, during the summit's opening ceremony emphasized NACON's responsibility in ensuring pilgrims' welfare.
Indeed, you recall my directive to the Commission in August last year that it is absolutely essential for the Commission to develop a robust mechanism to give us maximum success in managing Hajj operations from year to year. Also, that the welfare of the pilgrims is at the core of the pilgrimage, and as such, the Commission must give it the priority it deserves.
NACON's Chief Executive Officer, Ahmed Arabi, acknowledged the challenges faced by the Commission and emphasized the collective responsibility of stakeholders for a successful 2024 Hajj.
Alhamdulillah, I can proudly say that a total number of close to 65,500 pilgrims of the State Pilgrims Welfare Board, agencies and commissions, and the tour operators will be participating in this year's Hajj. The visa processing has reached advanced stage, and approved carriers are fully ready to airlift all the pilgrims from over 10 departure centers.
On his part, the rector of the Hajj Institute of Nigeria, Muhammad Nasiruddin Minturari, emphasized the importance of collaboration for a memorable Hajj experience.
Therefore, as we stand on the threshold of the 2024 Hajj season, it is imperative that we as collective body serving the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria come together in a spirit of unity and cooperation, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. We should cooperate in righteousness and piety, and that we should not cooperate in sins and wrongdoing.
The representative of Sultan of Sokoto and Jamb Registrar, Isiaq Oloyede, urged NACOM officials and Hajj operators to discharge their duties conscientiously.
In Allah, I have not created somebody as cannot punish. That is the summary of it. If you think you can do anything and go scot-free, not during Hajj, please, if you will go on Hajj, pray that if you will not have any reward on your return, may God not make you come back with liability or debit rather than having credit.
Meanwhile, NACON has announced that all Nigerian pilgrims will spend at least 4 days in Medina before commencing the Hajj rites proper. Habibat Hajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
That was a report on the preparation for the 2024 Hajj operations from Nigeria. We'll now take a short break, and when we return, the conversation with Professor Mohamed Tukurbaba commences. Don't go away. Yes, welcome back. Yes, Professor, you have seen 2 of our tidbits. The first one, of course, was on Tudimbiri. Finally, the military said it has indicted 2 of its officers, but they didn't mention name. What is your take on this?
Well, I would say, as we see in popular Nigerian language, that half bread is better than none. Earlier on, when the incident happened, we and a lot of people called open probe not by the army, because the army should not investigate itself. It was a gross error. But they went ahead and have released a report, although it is extremely short on details. So it's suspected, but it's also a welcome development in the past, when in fact promises are to investigate, but you never see the results, you never hear anything again. As inadequate as this is, it's a good development. And it says only 2 army officers have been found wanting. We don't know what found wanting means. No details are given, but interestingly, the Prof said this is an incident that shouldn't have happened. For our consultative forum, we say right from our reaction to it that we're sure the incident had all the elements of the failure of intelligence and incompetence. So if the Prof says what shouldn't have happened, we are happy at the outcome. And this is what we thought. It shouldn't have happened at all. And like we observe, we hope it doesn't happen again anywhere. But let's see if we get further details of the report for an analysis. For now, like I said, we have had something. As inadequate as it is, it's something we have to live with for now.
Yes, here in Daily Trust, immediately we heard of the outcome of the investigation. We asked our reporters in Kaduna to contact the people in Tudimbiri, including religious leaders, community leaders, and families of victims. What came out is still heart-rending, Professor, because they said apart from the usual palliative, nothing tangible. Are you really comfortable with this kind of disposition? in this part of the country?
Oh, of course, not comfortable at all. In fact, the questions that have been asked is what has been said in the results of the investigation and the victims, dead and living. We had called, we earlier called that all the promises to the victims and the committees must be delivered, and nobody should be allowed to get rich out of the misery of the victims. Again, the report has not said anything. And as your investigation showed, the promises, as we suspected, have not fulfilled. This is typical. It's very sad, but it's typical that there was fanfare. Everyone was rushing to the ministers were there. The national security advisor was there. All military command, including the chief of defense, were there. And then, it was a Photoshop, very tragic, very sad, that it was just a moment, and the people have been left in the lurch, so to speak.
I remember it was during one of those visits, in the aftermath of the unfortunate incident in Tinubu, that the vice president uttered some words around Fulaku initiative. They are going to, initially they wanted to do it around Zamfara or Kebbi, but now they will launch it around Tinubu. We asked the people, they say they are still waiting. Of course, they have seen some graders clearing the bush path and then clearing the road to the town, but nothing more. What will you say finally on this, in respect of redeeming promises by political leaders?
Like I said earlier on, we long suspected right earlier that these promises they will not be kept because we have a tradition of following up. We have a tradition of government making promises, government deceiving, lying, acting, and so on, but not delivering. So I'm not surprised. In fact, I am disappointed linkage between the Fulham initiative and the two. I don't see any linkage between the two. If you want to do something for pastoralists, do it. Don't link it to a disaster committed by the military on an innocent community. This community, the people kept were not pastoralists. The killed were not pastoralists. There were simply villagers celebrating the Eid. If in fact there are full paperless from the results, let's see the results of the investigation. Overall, it's a bit of a disappointment that we are not making institutional progress. We are not making progress towards institution responsibility, accountability, and diligence in all our national institutions. You look around, hardly any institutional area where we are improving. We are not.
All right. Yes, finally, now on the Hajj, on 15th, finally, the first set will depart for Saudi Arabia. At the time, there were fears that Nigeria will not even participate in the Hajj exercise. What will you say as, a leader, an opinion leader also from northern Nigeria, that at last the preparation is in top gear now?
As usual, like I will link it to my own statement, that it is a bit of a disappointment that you cannot point to one area in our national institution where you can say progress email so on. This haphazard fire brigade approach to Hajj, simple thing as Hajj, have been undertaken for close to 100 years. Up till this moment, we have not been able to get it right. Every time we are rushing to lose one deadline or another. In fact, there were times we rushed not to meet the deadline, and we missed it. So, it's just disappointing that we don't seem to be improving, we don't seem to be getting things right, and every day, every year, year in, year out, when other countries are planning, we are leading. When other countries are going to implement their plans, we are jumping, running from pillar to post, looking for one fire brigade approach or another. I think it's that maybe we have become addicted to rush, become addicted to planlessness, we have become addicted to incompetence, and so on. The last Hajj was a terrible disappointment, and you cannot remove that from the lack of preparation, lack of planning, lack of follow-up, and of course, underneath it all, the usual level corruption.
All right, thank you very much. We're now going to subject matter of the day, the meeting of the Northern Governors Forum in Kaduna on Tuesday, the 30th of April. I know what had to do with the ACF was item 9 in the communique. I will come to that. But item 2, I want to read it and then have your take. It said, the forum commended the federal government under the dynamic, focused, and courageous leadership of President Bola Tinubu, which has demonstrated total commitment to winning the war against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. Is this a political statement, or you think, yes, the president has been, on point?
Obviously, it's a political statement. Yeah. Obviously, it's a political statement. Obviously, it is expected. Look, it's a meeting of governors. Those who are in power, they are the presidents in power. You don't expect that they will do anything but praise, because they are part and parcel of the whatever is going on. So it's not right. You can excuse them. You can yield slack on this. They are part and parcel. No governor can remove himself from the trajectory. Although, of course, it's a meeting of governors elected on the platform of the two dominant parties, but they are government. Government is given every time to praising itself. Government is given to deflecting criticism. Government is given to palliative, that is to say, papering over problems, pretending, not attacking the root of the problem. So I don't blame them. This is what I expected to do. I mean, this is what the federal authorities probably expect them to say, and they have said it. But like I say, it's you are asking the same people to upgrade themselves. I don't think anybody will give himself or herself an effort, or you can say in 40%. They will obviously accept what is going on. It's left for you journalists, investigative journalists, to go and see what's happening, and for us who are sluts to really filter out exactly what is happening. But they have not said anything.
Yeah, curiously, Professor. Yeah,
what they would say.
Curiously, in the next breath, they extended sympathies to people of Kaduna, Katsina, Niger, Plateau, and Zamfara states who are unprecedented. They describe it as unprecedented security challenges currently afflicting the states. These sympathies and all that, is it enough? Or where do you think these 19 governors in the northern part of the country are getting it wrong in addressing these myriad challenges, banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, and others?
The expression of sympathy is in that. It is how it should be. I mean, what else can they do? At the different levels, the states are constrained on the measures they can take. They are doing their best, obviously, but there are constitutional problems, lacuna in the sense that they don't want any truth. So the expression of sympathy is the least aspect of them. And I think it's very good, because it's an expression of the recognition of the pain that the people of those states are going through. So, I mean, if you cannot go and help them in the least you can do is to acknowledge their pains and so on. Where I don't know wrong, I think the whole of this problem is there is no regional approach to this, to find this issue. So, but the governors will get together. One would wish they will have a coordinated and approach to this, as opposed to what we have now. Instead, it's taking some measures as soon as they affected the bandits and the terrorists, go to the next state, and so, I mean, one would prefer to see a coordinated approach, but we all know of the northern state, but especially where this terrorism and banditry has become endemic. There's a Katsina and Zamfara, Sokoto, and Niger State. So we take it as zonal basis, we take it as closely, looking at everything. Northwest is affected, the Northeast is affected, the North Central is affected. These three political should have a coordinated approach to tackling this problem. And I think that is what I would prefer. The government should go beyond lamenting the situation and expressing sympathy. But I hope we go beyond that. The question people ask is what happens the moment after sympathy? Exactly. This is what we need to see.
And this brings to the fore the issue of the efficacy of the Northern Governors Forum. It has been there for decades. And they will meet in Kaduna once in a while. Once they move back to their states, as you mentioned, everyone does his states the way he feels he can approach it. Are you satisfied with these quasi-security establishments? Zamfara, they have theirs. Askara, one Zamfara, you have community watch or community guys in Katsina. Kaduna, they have theirs. Do you think this will give the desired result?
I think it's not a question, do I think? Obviously, like I said, there is a lack of synergy, the lack of a regional approach. Do I think? No. Yes, I hope and pray that we will see results. But of course, we need more details on the operations. And some of the excesses, the community approach, some of it will be worsen the situation because of the stereotyping of certain groups. And so not just attacking anybody that wears those cultural labels. I think we need to sit down and prefer to see a situation where the northern government will set up a high-level technical committee that will coordinate, that will advise, and that will see the implementation. We have the human resources, vast number of retired military, police, and other paramilitary and security services that will be ready to offer. That happened during the Civil War when many exodus were mobilized and they helped. I would have preferred to see the northern government taking this approach. So many retired generals, so many other people, vast human resources. I think we're not making good use of what we have. There are many people that point the direction we move, and especially say a coordinated approach whereby there will be similar or at least coordinated action from different states. So that this issue is tackled, so that we cycle the problem and get to the heart of it, deal with it, and then do the what a lot of people call non-kinetic, whatever it means. Yeah. Following up, but I think the northern governors should be made to remember their vast human resources, retired people. They are doing nothing. Probably some will go into farming because of the problem. I think if each state has to contribute resources and human material, and these people get together, I think we'll have a lot of mileage. We'll achieve a lot of mileage in dealing with the problem. Right now, it is not happening.
One of the letters we received in the aftermath of the Kaduna meeting, the person titled his letter "Gathering of Lamentations," and I chew over it. And why? When he went deep, he was asking questions as to what these governors are doing. This is in relation to point number 4. And I want to quote it. They said, the forum noted that human capital development is critical to the progress and prosperity of the region and expressed concern that the region currently bears the burden of having the highest number of school children, out of school children in the world. The forum committed itself to invest massively in education and skill development, healthcare and social services in order to address the menace. If one will go to the archives of their meetings, virtually this point features almost all the time. What is wrong, Prof? Northern Nigeria is the worst in the whole world of out-of-school children.
Yes, it is. I mean, this is no news. It's one of the regions with the highest number of out-of-school children. This is not only tied to our population, more critically, we don't have a coordinated, well-implemented effort to extend Western education to make it available. As the chairman of the Arewa Consultative Forum pointed before the governors, and if you consider the situation in South Nigeria, where the proportion of out-of-school children, primary and junior secondary level, everywhere is less than 10%. Nowhere is it under 38% in northern Nigeria. In some states, the proportion of people out of school, children out of school, is as high as 50%. This tells you that we are not doing nearly enough. Number 2, all previous efforts to extend Western education have simply been abandoned. Everywhere you go, you see roofs none, with schools without windows. You have seen new schools. The campaign to send children into school is dead. We have a lot of resources, state media outlets. None of them is doing any public relations on send children with the benefit of school, do something for the girl child to achieve education. This is not being done. So it's just the Northern Governors Forum. Every one of us is quiet. Every one of us is relaxed. What we need is an emergency to declare a state of emergency on a special basic education. I mean, when you go in any town, in any major city, especially state capital city, no. If you are out in the morning, you see more children going around with plastic bags, begging for food. You see children in uniform going to school. That gives you the whole picture that, you don't need scientists to tell you that. You don't need research. Just go out. By assessment, you will see more people, more children in tattered clothes, holding balls. They see them in their uniform going to school. Move to schools themselves. A lot of the facilities, despite the amount of money that is going into that sector, a lot of the facilities are still broken. As I said earlier, blown rooms, no windows, no doors. In many places, you see goats jumping up and down in and out of the classroom. We are not doing enough. It's all, the whole sector is decaying, whether we accept it or not. And unless the northern state government each commits itself doing something tangible, and they should do it in a coordinated manner, then heading the system is set for actual collapse.
Yes, something funny happened. Yes, Prof.
It will not take 5 to, in my opinion, it will take probably 5 to 10. We'll see a total collapse. I have to say everybody should go to school. When they go to school, you ask them, what did you learn? Oh, teacher was busy selling puff, and so on. That's all. Who will send the teacher back? I mean, most of the elite, and I think we are guilty of it, most of the elites who value education have realized what the public schools have become. What is the thing to do? Send their children to private schools. So the private school, private initiative has become a lucrative business. because the elite just won't send their children, and the demand is there. Most of the schools you go, they are oversubscribed. And so certain countries have done so. I read online that Rwanda was able to reverse the situation. Suddenly, the private schools were closing because everyone was taking their children to the public school because there is a commitment to funding, commitment to equality, commitment to delivering service. So the elites are now going back to public schools. In Nigeria, it's the reverse. Typical class northerner will not be sending their children to the public schools. Yes. In fact, certain statements, and I understand, Arewa is an area where this is beginning to progress. The government is spending a lot of money on the public schools, and in fact, is putting us in a situation where people are taking their children back to the public school. This is a good initiative, but it is not nearly enough. We need to do it on the platform of all the other states, sitting down, checking this initiative, tasking their commissioners of education to come up with a evidence-based plan and implementation with evaluation and assessment that we know we are doing something. It will take less than 5 years to see results. Less than 5 years. In fact, in 4 years, you will begin to see the results of the improvement given the demand. And so it can be done. But you and I are putting enough pressure on the government. We are relaxed because our children are attending school. In fact, the number reached how to push you send their children out of the country. I mean, everywhere I read online that one school is charging 42 million per annum for it's ridiculous.
Yes, earlier,
people maybe tax to contribute to that. A lot of people will be happy to pay for the service if government organize it, remove the corruption, actually pump the money where it is in. A lot of people will be ready to do that. We have property tax. We can tax individuals through taxing businesses and everyone to contribute, because those children working in the streets without an education are an important threat to those whose parents can afford education. They can't live in the same society. And right now what we have is a developed and a developed society living together. It's a recipe for disaster, whether we accept it or not.
Yes. Earlier, I wanted to make reference to what happened in 2020, at the onset of the COVID-19. We've seen how governors, let me use this traded Almajire of sort, because you see a lot of buses taking off with Almajire from Nasarawa, that is Lafia, heading to Sokoto or heading to Kano. Some from Kano heading to Meduguri, some from Meduguri heading to Bauchi. Saying that, okay, all these are Almajire that were brought by Malams to each of these states. Now go back to your states. Now it's like we're back to square one, because those people have all gone back to where they were flushed out earlier. I want to link this with the establishment of the Sangaya Commission of sorts to critically address the issue of is it out of school children or the Almajiri syndrome? What do you think this commission must do? Because we are very good in Nigeria in establishing commission for virtually every other thing apart from ministry. What will you tell this commission on Almajiri to concentrate on, so that in the next 4 or 5 years we will not be discussing issue of Almajiri roaming the states with their bowels begging for food?
Let's make a difference between the Almajiri system and the modern education. Of course, the Almajiri phenomena is one that's been battered, criticized, and so on by people, almost everyone. Let me start from where you ended. saying we are very good at establishing commissions, agencies, and so at our problems. Let me draw your attention to something funny. We are also good at making sure they don't work. We are also good at making sure we dismantle again, and so on, in the name of rationalization, in the name of downsizing, and so on. Let's give the head of school children commission time to settle. We hope, and I hope you, that it's not going to be another bureaucratization of the problem, so that all you do is to set up a commission, you will grant, you throw money at it, and it's not going in. And that's the problem with all problems. If you throw money at a problem, the problem will not be solved. Throwing it without a concrete plan, and so what will I see? One, I want to see a bed study of just how many people, what are their basic social and demographic characteristics, where are they located, how many classes shall we need, how many teachers shall we need, or do we have a program for the teachers, do we have a program for lining schools with adequate funding, how many classrooms shall we need? I hope this is where the commission will look itself, rather than saying, oh, we need about 7 directorates and or every one of whom 160 million bulletproof car, and so on. We are good at that. I hope the commission will, for its own sake, have evidence-based planning that will show the way out. Like I said, down. Who and how many and where are they? What are their characteristics, ages, and so on? What are the background of their parents? How far do they live from where? And so on. So once you have this in mind, I think a lot of international donors will key in to help you and so on. So what will I ensure? I hope the committee and the commission will remain highly technical and resist the temptation for political correctness, for pleasing anybody, and so on. This is what I like to see.
Yes. Now let's move to the issue of poverty. We know that during Sardauna, Tafawa Balewa and the rest, they were able to nurture the new Nigeria Development Company, NNDC. But it has gone comatose for a very long time. During the last meeting on Tuesday, they received the report of the technical committee on NNDC. Do you see this viable company coming back to life with the way and manner the northern governors are actually approaching virtually every other thing?
Again, even what the trajectory of things that have been happening today, I can only hope, I can only dream and hope that the company will come. But I am highly, highly skeptical. I mean, like I said earlier, these things keep deteriorating. You hardly see any area of this. I would prefer to see the NDC taken out of the bureaucracy, taken away from governors, and be tasked with developing a viable commercial strategy as it has done in the past. That means remove politics from it. Now, what is where is the chief executive going to come from? It's from this state and other states. We are not looking for competence. We are not looking for service delivery. It's not just that a lot of the investments have broken down. I was talking to a friend saying, workers in the new Nigeria woke up one day to find that even covered by the federal government was not vetted. So they are left neither in the hands of the northern state government, in the hands of the federal government. You can talk a lot of property owned in the city of Kaduna by NNDC. Where are they today? I mean, let's face it, do we really need such a company? When in fact the states has its own investment company. The NNDC was northern Nigeria. That is the Bedway, Jigawa, Soto, Taraba. They all have their investment. They will pay attention. How much are those? How were those operating? So, am I skeptical? Yes, I'm very skeptical. I'm only prayerful and hopeful that something will come up. But let's be realistic.
Yeah, somebody before we started this program, somebody called me from Bauchi, and more or less humbled me by the rhetorical question he asked. He said, "Look, you people that are living in Abuja, are you really aware of the terrible state people are across the states, especially in the north, since the removal of the tariff on electricity?" He lives inside Bauchi town, but he said in the area he is, they barely get 30 minutes of electricity in 24 hours. They can't even charge their phones to communicate. Now, elsewhere in southern part of Nigeria, we've seen states that are now trying to, in fact, like Abia, they have started generating their own electricity, and industries in Aba are now thriving very well. Have you thought of really talking to the northern governors to come to terms with the reality as far as the level of poverty and deprivation is in the region?
I think it's not a lack of awareness. The northern governors, as glorious as the government houses are, know these problems. But in the question, nobody is talking about it. It's not just about Chi. It's the same thing I can talk about Sokoto. It's the same thing I can talk about Kebi. It's the same thing all over. And what we see is that most of the electricity generated at Kain and Shiroro are diverted to southern Nigeria. And I have had no governor talking about it. No governor talking about it. No senator talking about it. Our representatives are not talking about it. Obviously, because they have generated, obviously, they can afford for their houses 10 million naira or so initial investment in solar that will power their air conditions. You and I are talking about it. Nobody. The people who generate are also suffering because they cannot afford the fare between Zamfara, Kebbi, and Kaduna, Katsina states have traversed in the last week. Nowhere do I see petrol selling for less than 1,000. Nowhere. People are lamenting. You could see in their faces and the few outlets set for it that there is a lot of frustration. In fact, if you are there, you have to be careful not to aggravate anybody because of important. I mean, it's a potential time bomb that I hope the governors will pay attention. That I hope our representatives in the National Assembly, in the State Assembly, will talk about it, will do something about it. Otherwise, we are in trouble. In all the states I have listed, one of the things you will notice is the sparse traffic on the road within the cities and in between the cities. Simply, people cannot afford to buy the fuel. So this is a region-wide problem. The saddest part of it is nobody is talking about it. Even sadder still, nobody is out with a plan how to tackle it. What does it tell you? The situation will begin to get worse before it gets better. If it will get better. If it will get better. If it will not get better, that is where the devil is. Because the combustion that this represents is a social disaster. I hope someone somewhere would wake and start doing something about what's happening.
Now, the millions of small and medium enterprises, especially in the region, they have been wiped out by the combined effects of fuel subsidy removal and removal of tariff of electricity. Most of these industries now are completely down. What do you think the governors must do? Because it's like they are prioritizing, as I asked earlier, recruiting young people into quasi-security establishments at the detriment of actually nursing or finding succor for these small businesses that will put food in the mouths of millions of deprived people in the region. So what will you tell them? That, look, there is this problem, where you are heading to will not actually give the desired result.
You have said recruiting people into the position. I mean, how many millions of youth that are employed at the skilled are being employed? Very little, very little. Again, the governors know, like I said, be surrounded by tough-looking security personnel, said by elites that will go and speak for themselves rather than for the region, rather than for their state, so on. I think the governors should try to stop being politically correct, to damn consequences, and start building community-based projects that will help alleviate the suffering of the people, but more importantly, that will focus on empowering the people to solve their own problems, get them to school, give them water, give them power, because without power, like nothing will work. Let's face it. I mean, there is a limit to prime capacity for generating power, everyday use. If you have the generator, you can't afford the fuel. If you have to use irrigation pump, you can't afford the fuel. So it's like we are going down our knees. Nobody is talking of importing or encouraging small-scale hand tillers that alleviate the pain of burying bags and using bulk. Rather, we are importing tractors that are not good cement holders. And then within a short time, the tractors disappear. Rather than importing from Southeast Asia, all these innovative devices that relieve labor on the farm, we are not doing that. So it should encourage the governors to do it honestly, to be on their own, look within them and tap from sources. And I would not think outside the box. I would prefer that they can think even when they're in the box, not outside of it. There's a lot to that. There's a lot of potential, human and wasted, because we don't evidence-based learning. We go for all these high to this palliative, to that a palliative is an issue. A palliative leaves the major problem unattended to. You know, such thing as let me go back to the private individual. Women has no business in it. Apart from studying counselor and medical services, sponsoring people, subsidizing their disease, it's no problem. Once the government will drop it, the heart will go back to its Islamic essence. You go on it if and when you can afford it, and affording it means a lot. Our Islamic lecturers can, clerics can tell us more about this. But there are other wastages actually move away from.
All right.
Concrete plan ground that will empower people to utilize and to see to actually their potentials, rather than waiting for government or someone to come throw palliatives at them. Now, it's almost an insult.
Prof, finally, we have less than a minute to go, but I reserve this question. The executive committee of ACF also visited the governors forum, and something that featured during your interaction with them was on the need to harmonize activities of various interest groups of, speaking for the North. Are we now looking forward to maybe Northern Elders Forum, Arewa Consultative Forum, and all that, Middle Belt Forum, coalescing into one single force, or it is actually aiming at something different? I want us to discuss this some other time, but I want to have your take briefly on it.
Well, myself, we don't need one organization. We have interest, so long as it's common, and then we speak about it from various angles. a lot of the groups you have mentioned are part of the Arewa Consultative Forum. There are different focus and so on. I think we want to see an evolution of action based on interest. What area we can agree on security, we can agree on education, we can agree on agriculture. Then we can speak about them from a different angle. What we need is cohesion and harmonization of the issue discussed, not necessarily a violation of the that is a tall order dream. But we can sit down and address the issue from different angles.
All right, thank you very much. We'll definitely bring you back to discuss more on some of these issues and many others that we are unable to bring to the fore in the course of the conversation. We thank you very much, Prof, for being part of this program, and we hope to have you some other time.
Thank you so very much. We'll always be happy to come and share my thoughts.
Okay, bye-bye for now. All right. Yes, viewers, we've been interfacing with Professor Tukur Mohamed Baba, the spokesperson of the Arewa Consultative Forum and the Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Federal University, Birnin Kebbi. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. Be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. For now, bye-bye from here. I am Hamza Idris.